Hi, Calivan here. I first did a guide for this scenario a few months back, but since then people have told me that the AI has changed a bit and rendered a lot of my previous advice defunct. So I thought I'd have another look. Last time I was able to complete it on hard, this time I've managed to do it on brutal, so there's a bit of an improvement. So I thought I'd run you through my playthrough to see if I could give you any help or tips to complete yours. So I opened with the 3 metal extractors and a bot lab, and then the first thing I build is a couple of Lazarus. We get quite a lot of metal on this map because of all the reclaiming, so we're going to need a decent amount of energy economy to be able to use that metal. The thing is, there's not really much space for wind turbines up here. Now, we could build them down here, but the problem is they get bombed so easily that I don't think that's a good idea. So instead, we're going to build a big wedge of advanced solos over here, and to do that, we're going to need some energy. So after my first 2 grave robbers, I've got 5 construction pots coming out. The first 3 are going to back up our forward choke point. So they're going to build 2 metal extractors, a twin guard, a construction turret or 2, and a radar. That should keep them safe for a bit. And then the last 2 construction bots, well, they're going to build a construction turret and then get some advanced solar collectors up. And we're going to be able to do this because we're using our 2 grave robbers to reclaim all these trees. This gives us a decent amount of energy. So the way we're going to do this is in 3 steps. The first step is to reinforce these choke points here. We're going to gradually put more and more defences into these choke points so they'll hold off all the stream of rubbish that the easy AI sends our way. Once we've done that, we are going to build some mobile units, and then we're going to push down and we're going to secure these areas here. And this will mean that we've got the entire upper 3 parts of the platform. What we're also going to do is every time we take an area that contains metal nodes, we're going to leave a little bit of combat power there and move on. Because there's so many AI and they love to spread out all over the map, and they've got loads of air and hover and all sorts of constructors, if we kill a load of stuff and move away, they'll rebuild the thing in seconds. So the idea is we take an area and then we secure an area. And then we take another area and then we secure an area. And then we take the next area and then we secure the next area. And we're going to keep doing that all the way around this top section until we've got it all under control. At the same time, we're going to build a couple of nuclear missile launchers here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to start firing nukes into all these corners. Now, sometimes they'll have an anti-nuke up, but the easy AI doesn't do that very well. Often it will build a mobile anti-nuke and send it to attack your base. This means that we can just keep nuking all of these points on our circle here like this. Now, the trick to getting this to work is a mixture of speed, efficiency and attention. So we need to reinforce these choke points with just the right amount of defences and then keep growing those defences as the amount of incoming units changes. We need to be fast at doing it, but also we need to pay attention to them and make sure that we use our grave robbers to help repair and reclaim to give us all the resources we need. Once we've got our first basic bits of defences up, which includes our twin guard and our construction turrets, we're then going to send our commander around and he's going to capture these bits here. Essentially, we're just going to build a load of thistles and metal extractors. And then a bit later on, we'll build some more anti-air. And then we'll also build a little bit of combat power here in case they send some spiders climbing up the mountain or something like that. So what we'll tend to end up with is some armed exploiters here, and then maybe even an advanced armed exploiter a bit later on in the game. And then we'll probably have like 3 eradicators here, and then maybe even a screamer, maybe a couple of flak batteries, but we'll just do that on every single corner. That'll make these safe from planes, and then these are safe from units, and that gives us a decent amount of land to hold, lots of metal income, and then we can really ramp up our economy. So I'm going to go super fast through this next bit, because there's not really much to look at, it's just kind of a repetition. I guess we could focus on one little area just to see the kind of things that happen. So we'll tend to get a load of easy AI units will come towards us. They won't be in any particular pattern. There'll be everything and anything you can think of. Hovercraft, bots, vehicles, planes, the lot. And they won't even be that useful. I mean, these are anti-air units, so these aren't going to do much. And essentially our 2 Dragon's Maws, our Warden and our Twin Guard will pick up most of this early stuff without trouble. Occasionally you'll get a bit of artillery that will sit at the back and shoot us, but we can just use our grave robbers to out-repair that. And then normally after a while the thing will get confused and roll forward and then we can kill it. What we want to do, once we get around 10 minutes into the game, things are going to get a bit tougher. So at this point, we want to use all this metal we've been reclaiming to build ourselves an advanced vehicle lab. So I'm first going to get some more construction turrets up. Got loads of advanced solars so we can actually make this. Going to get our construction vehicle out straight away and then go straight into an advanced lab. Now once that's done, we're going to roll off some Quakers before we upgrade our mexes. We're going to put 2 Quakers at each one of these choke points. Now what these Quakers will do, allow us to deal with all these annoying hovercraft and artillery that sit at the back and pepper us with these long range missiles. Quakers have got massive range, so all we have to do is make sure we put a couple of Quakers at every single choke point, and then that won't be a problem. And then we also need to make sure that we keep a grave robber near each one of these chokes, and periodically we run out, scoop up all of this metal and then bring him back safely. And if he dies, well, we want to make sure we've got more. So we're actually probably going to use the quota mode on this lab to make sure we've always got 5 or 10 grave robbers ready for us to use. This puts us in quite a safe position, but we're going to improve it slightly. We're going to put a radar jammer on each one of these to just reduce the amount of incoming fire we're taking. You'll notice there's still some things sitting in the back firing some rubbish rockets at us, but our 2 repair turrets can pretty much repair through that, and after a while the Quakers will sort them out nice. Now that we've got our first few Quakers out, we can upgrade our metal extractors and then we can start making some more Quakers. I like to end up with each one of these choke points having 4 Quakers and 2 Banishers. Alongside with all of the smaller defences, that's pretty much enough to keep all of the enemy at bay for a very long time. Because they tend to come up this hill very slowly, they're not very efficient, and the small amount of damage they will do will get out repaired. Also, all of your stuff will level up quite quickly, and it will get a lot more health and more DPS when they level up. So as long as you can repair everything good from the start, you'll notice that these things become incredibly powerful. Notice that this single twin guard has got up to 465 DPS already. That's very, very high. Now, you will be continually harassed by annoying bombers. All you can do is build anti-air. They are frustrating. I think at this point I lose this whole little corner here. But what I'll do is I'll just build a couple of Furies, I think they're called. No, Fury? Yeah, a couple of Furies, roll them down. That'll stop anything else dying over there, and then we can bring some more constructors in to rebuild that. So at this stage of the game, from between about 10 and 15 minutes, all we're doing is we're reinforcing our choke points with those Banishers and the Quakers, and then we're going to go around and just upgrade the metal extractors, so we've got loads of income. There's one last thing we're going to do to improve our defensive situation here, and that's get some vision. So I'm going to build 3 basic aircraft plants. We're going to put them all on repeat, fly, and high priority, and then we're going to queue up 1 Finch, and we're going to task each of these to go to one of these locations. So this one will send a Finch here, this one will send a Finch down here, and then this one will send a Finch over here. Now they'll die pretty quickly, but that will give us a bit of extra vision. That means our Quakers will be able to target the rocket bots and stuff at the back, even if they're in weird positions just outside of radar view. Now we will get more Finches than we need probably, but this is the best way I can think of continually generating them. Obviously we can't use the quota mode because we need 3 different places covered. We're also going to build an extra bit of anti-air defense here, so we're going to get an Eradicator up to back up this SAM site. That should pretty much stop everything at this sort of point of the game. Now we're about 14-15 minutes in. I think we're pretty much good here, so we're just going to keep ecoing. So we're going to build a few fusion reactors, we're going to get an anti-nuke up. Now I've never been nuked on this map, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. And that's pretty much it for this part of the game, at least for the next 5 or so minutes. All we're doing is we're just using our defensive positions here to fight off all of the enemy. We're making sure we don't get picked apart because we've got repairs, and we also have Banishers and Vision and Quakers. And then we're sending our grave robbers out to go and scoop up all the metal that gets left behind. The next stage of our development is we're going to build some construction turrets, and then that will let us build a couple of APHIS and also get ourselves a T3 gantry up. This bit of space here is useful. We're going to put our nukes there. But we're not going to start building our nukes until we've got a decent amount of reclaim and an extra few fusion reactors. because we want to have a decent economy before that happens. Here comes our nuke up. If you look, our defensive positions are pretty much handling themselves now. I don't really need to do much controller here. All I'm doing is sending a grave robber over every now and again to come and harvest up all of this metal. It's the same for all of them. Because we've got decent amount of vision, we've got radar jamming, we've got powerful units. We've got a super duper twin guard here that's got 508 DPS. That means that all these units are pretty much kept back. Once our T3 gantry is ready, we're only going to need one unit, and that unit is the Karganath. This is perfect for this map. It can shoot land, it can shoot air, it can climb over all the mountains, it's got lots of DPS and lots of health. So we're going to rely 100% on this unit to get the job done. And it's about 25 minutes in, so now's the time we're going to start fighting back. We don't want to wait too long because although the AI is easy, we will get overrun if we wait too long. The easy AI will build some tough units, and it will also build things like Ragnaroks and other stuff, so we don't want to wait too long. We want to give ourselves a decent amount of economy and get some nukes up, but then we want to strike back. I think 25 minutes is a sort of good time to start thinking about doing that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just start nuking these circle edges here, because they probably won't have any decent anti-nuke up, and it will cut their production down by a huge amount. And then we're going to use our Karganaths to come out and secure all this area. What we'll do is we'll basically roll a big bunch of them through the enemy like this. We'll leave one of them here to hold the fort so they don't rebuild. Then we'll take the rest of them and then we'll kill this. And then we'll leave another one here to hold the fort. And then we'll take the rest and go here and then leave another one. And then we'll move on. And then we'll just keep doing that with big bunches of these all-terrain assault mechs until we have this entire top area covered with them. So now we're going to send these big assault mechs up and they'll just absolutely cut through everything that's here. And then we'll bring in our grave robbers. What we'll probably do is we'll resurrect any anti-air because it's quite nice to have, and then we'll just reclaim everything else. So we'll leave one here to hold the fort, send the next lot down, kill everything else. Speed this up again. Oh, got a commander there, that's useful. We're just going to keep nuking. And we'll leave one of them there to hold this area. And then we can leave one here to hold this area. And we're just going to keep doing this until we win the game now. There's not really much more to say about this mission after that, really. Once we've got to this point, we're pretty much winning. We will occasionally not be able to nuke the enemy. They might have an anti-nuke up. The main thing is we will be able to nuke enough of them to dramatically reduce the amount of damage they can do. And then that will let our mechs pretty much clean everything else up. But we're going to still follow the same pattern. So we're going to capture an area, we're going to leave one of our mechs there to secure it so it doesn't get rebuilt on, and then take the rest of our mechs and go and capture the next area. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to find the last couple of commanders because they're in the sea, so what I generally do at this point, just to speed the game up a little, is build a couple of air labs and just start cranking out loads of sonar and radar planes and torpedo bombers and stuff and just flood the map. You see here we've got plenty of vision because we've sent all those scouts out, we can see where the enemy is, and then we'll just send all our mechs out. At this point the enemy's got almost no eco compared to us, so we're in no danger at all. As long as we keep our commander safe, well, we've got two commanders just in case, and that just about wraps it up. So, just a quick recap, you want to secure these points quite well. You want to make sure that you don't get killed by attrition, and the best way to do this is to have a mixture of repairs, artillery and vision. So you use construction turrets for repairs, use banishers and quakers for artillery, and then use a spam of scout planes for vision. If you've got all those three things together, you'll be pretty safe. This gives you a chance to eco up, make a couple of nuke launchers, start nuking everything on the map, and then build loads and loads and loads of all-terrain assault mechs to go and clean everything up. And then while you're still cleaning up this top stage, make sure that after you clean an area, you leave one of them behind to stop them from rebuilding. This will allow you to pretty much clean the map up quite efficiently and quickly without the game dragging on into several hours.